All right, welcome to the Will to Win After Show Live. I am the Oakland Knight, and joining me, as always, is my partner in crime, Raider Pirate. What's up, Raider Pirate?
What's happening, Raider Nation?
All right, guys, thank you for joining us here, the eve of the Hall of Fame induction of Kenny the Snake Stabler. Hopefully, a lot of you guys have already been able to check out the Will to Win broadcast this week. It is live on YouTube as we speak. It is our training camp and Hall of Fame edition to the Will to Win broadcast, where we actually had some really good guests on the show. And I want to start off by talking about those guests. Number one, the Violator. We want to thank the Violator so much for meeting us in Pasadena and spending some time with us. We had a really great visit with the Violator. He shared so much great information, and we're not going to talk about the things that he gave us because it's on the show. And if you want to check that out, it's live on YouTube, like I said. So Violator, we want to thank you guys. Need to go check out Violator's Facebook page. You need to go check out his website, which we'll put the link in the description after the show. And we will start putting out all that information, support him, buy some of his products. What a great man, what a great leader for the Raider Nation. And we were just really thankful and for him joining us and making it happen. Also, we would like to give this the biggest, this is humbling, guys. Kendra, Stabler Moyes, and Kim Ross Bush, we want to thank you guys so much with everything that's going on this weekend, with everything that's going on since Kenny's passing. For you guys to reach out and not necessarily reach out, but just to be a part of what we did this evening, I can't thank you enough. And guys, they love us. They, not us in general, the Raider Nation. Okay, they love the Raider Nation.
Yes, they love us.
They love us too, right? We gave them ample time to talk about someone that was, really special in their life. It was the heart and soul of their family, and you can see when you guys watch the video how much Kenny meant to them. So, for us to be able to give them a platform to talk to you guys as well as us is not only humbling for us, but it just makes me feel really special inside. And I just want to I can't thank them enough. I can't come up with the words to express the way that I feel for them giving us the time. And please, guys, XO Foundation, go check it out. You guys can get Kenny Stabler Hall of Fame shirts to help support the cause and their foundation. They're also going to be traveling around doing stuff with CTE. So keep an eye on their website and be sponsors, volunteer to help wherever they need it. And we could keep Kenny's legacy living, just us, the Raider Nation, and keep showing them love. They mentioned how much that keeps them going. So, Pirate, your thoughts on the broadcast and our guests?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. We had a choice that we had to make, and it was kind of a difficult choice. We had just decided that we were going to go with the Daily Show, and we felt like we had gotten a pretty good hold on that. And when the opportunity kind of came up for us to be able to put this extravaganza together, and it was a bear of a task, not so much in the work and how much time it took to work, but just getting the logistics and traveling and doing all the things that we had to do to try to make it happen. So we know that we said that we were going to be doing the Daily Show, and we absolutely are, but we just had to put in a little extra work, and then we got another kind of busy thing coming up there. But in terms of the people that we've been working with, and those of you that we have worked with that didn't make it on this particular show, don't worry. We're going to be doing this as we move forward. We're going to be compiling some extra stuff for our end of training camp thing. So, but again, the sincerity of Kendra Stabler, and I think just the off the cuffness of Kim, as well as the passion of the Violator. He spent, not only did he come down and kind of work with us and come down to the studio, but he was also, just going out to the car. He must, I don't know, what would you say? He must have, 20 people must have stopped him and asked for autographs and took pictures with him, and just the kindest person. And he's a real believer in this team, this organization, the fan base, and the will to win. So it was a great honor. Like I said, the two ladies, class, dignity, sharing stories about the snake. It just made me feel, that much closer to my favorite player of all time. So it was a great experience. And, again, our heart goes out to them. They're in Canton. and they are going to be accepting, the award on the part of the Snake. So we'll be watching that ceremony. But once again, they took time out of their extremely busy schedule to sit down with us. And we really do appreciate that. So once again, if you guys are watching, thank you so much, Kim. Thank you so much, Kendra. And obviously the Violator as well.
No, yeah, like I said, it's hard to find the words because Kenny meant so much to this organization. When you look at what we were able to do in the 70s and what Kenny meant to our franchise in the 70s, and then, his passing and then him being inducted into the Hall of Fame, for us to have the opportunity to share some time with his daughter and the love of his life, his soulmate for 17 years, and just hear some of the stories, and not only be a part of that, guys, but for us to be able to build this platform and share it with you guys too. It kind of goes for everything that I stand for. I mean, I've been on YouTube for 3 years. I've had some great moments of talking about certain things, meeting certain people, whether it's other vloggers or other members of the Raider Nation at events. But this one just beats it all. It was just so fulfilling, and it's humbling. It's a humbling feeling. And, like I said, we just want to continue to support them. They need us, guys. They need the love, the letters that you guys have been sending. All I could say is watch the show. Just if you haven't watched the Will to Win broadcast, the Hall of Fame special, it's on YouTube. Please go check it out. Now, to get off more of a somber note, let's change it up a little bit. But I want to stick to the Hall of Fame, Pirate. We're going to open the phone lines after we cover a few segments here, guys, and we'll open up the phone lines to everybody that may be watching. But this whole experience just raised that fire in me once again. There's a lot of Raiders that should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and 3 players really stick out into my mind, and I want to get your thoughts on it, Pirate. And that would be Tom Flores, Cliff Branch, and Jim Plunkett. You want to share some thoughts about what we experienced and how that could tie into those 3 gentlemen?
Yeah, well, just in the conversation that we had with Kim, which again, we hate to keep on plugging this, but she had such a great, giving us that kind of fly on the wall look into, Kenny Stabler coming back and sitting down with an ailing Al Davis and kind of mending that fence, when both of them were close to the end, and how Al said, you know what, I understand, I made some mistakes. I built something and I had a lot of success, but there were consequences, and the collateral damage was that what other coach is there in the National Football League with 2 Super Bowls and he's not in the Hall of Fame? What other quarterback is there that was supposedly a bust that gets drafted out of Stanford, number 1 overall, but then gets released by the 49ers, is on the scrap heap and comes back, revitalizes his career, is a cast-off, but comes back to play for an organization that was taking cast-offs at the time, and wins 2 Super Bowls. Cliff Branch, multiple Super Bowls. I mean, again, it's silly. It's ridiculous. We obviously know there's a bias. Conspiracies are one thing. When you've got a ton of information that shows you that it's not a conspiracy, when you have sports writers like we talked about, Zimmerman, that comes out and says, I won't vote for this guy. Well, if he's not voting for that guy, he may not be voting for somebody else too. And when you start letting guys like that in and you start giving them a voice, in today's culture, it just would never happen. I mean, we're so politically correct about stupid stuff today that something like that would just be like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you're not going to let him in because he was different? So it just kind of, it makes you scratch your head and say, look, let's not wait until too late. Let's not wait until these guys pass away to hear from these guys. And that's something that we're going to be doing. We're going to, I'll let you get into it, but it's certainly something that we're going to be chronicling, getting closer to these guys and talking about their stories and why it is that these guys are not in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, and once again, I'm just going to have to plug the show. We also talked to them, and they mentioned how, for Kenny, it wasn't as important as maybe it is to us. But whether that's true or not is for Kenny to know. And Kenny, rest in peace, by the way. But when you look at it from our standpoint as fans, it means a lot to us. These guys were beloved, and we live in a world where it's always politically correct. Everything's got to be politically correct. And Tony Dungy's going in this weekend. He's going in tomorrow, and he did not even accomplish anything of what Tom Flores was able to do. We got to remember Tom Flores was a part of the John Madden era too. He was also the quarterback for the Raiders. He also was the first Hispanic. So he's outside of that realm of what that politically correct, right? The first Hispanic, Latin American, whatever you want to look at it, head coach to not only win a Super Bowl but to win 2. He also was the head coach of a team that was the first team to come from the wild card slot and win it all. So then that leads right into Plunkett. Same thing, I'm dumbfounded by the fact that they blatantly, obviously, just put it out there that these guys ain't getting in because of an issue they had with the owner. And it's time. And I think that not only us here at the Wheel to Win, but the entire Raider Nation, you guys have a platform. You guys have voices. There's so many great organizations out there, whether it's the 66 Mobs. One of my favorites, the Knights of the Shield. You guys have platforms. Let's start up some petitions. Let's start a movement to where these guys get back in the forefront before they suffer something that Kenny does. And it's just a tad too late before it's realized. It's very unfortunate. But enough of the somberness. Okay, this is a celebration. He's getting that bust inside Canton tomorrow, regardless. Well-deserved. We know it. And this is the third year, guys, we've had a Raider go in. Ray Guy, Tim Brown now, Kenny Stabler. And let's just keep this momentum going. I know I'm excited. Any final thoughts before we get into the next segment, partner?
No, I don't want to be, drag it down. But, the one thing that I will say is that, again, even though Kenny had that personality, the easygoing personality of, hey, it's not going to make me change the way I put my pants on in the morning. And, when you look at guys like, for example, Cliff Branch, I'm sure it means a lot to Cliff Branch, and I'm sure it hurts a lot. Tom Flores, Jim Plunkett, I'm sure that they would like to be known as some of the top guys, of their time and in their sport. So Kenny had that easygoing way about him. And, he probably suffered the least. But these other guys, like I said, I know that if it were me, I would certainly every year be hoping that they were going to call out my name and say that this guy was one of the best of the best. So, yeah, you know what? We all have an opportunity to get together and have our voices be heard. And we're certainly going to be working on that as we move forward from here. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So for more information, for more insight of not only who Kenny the Stabler, the man was, but just the way that he looked at this whole process, go check out the Wheel to Win broadcast Hall of Fame special on YouTube. It's live now. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into the training camp portion of this. We also covered the training camp portion on the show this week. And it was ironic enough that we were talking about one Greg Townsend, and just yesterday, or I think it was today actually, they released DeMontre Moore. And it's someone that we actually talked about while we were talking about Greg Townsend. And we thought it was very interesting. We thought it was a little early, in my opinion. It was shocking, but it kind of fit the topic at hand of what we were talking about. And Byron, I'm going to go ahead and give you the mic first on the topic. And what do you think about DeMontre Moore being cut?
Yeah, well, we kind of talked about that, and before we kind of get into this, we want people to realize that, once again, because we'll probably get some comments, about this or that. What we were trying to do is give an overview of people that you may not know and compare them to some other people that may also be fringe players. So that when we are watching the games on Sunday and we see somebody doing something, we can kind of recognize them and we can root for them, right? DeMontre Moore is again, this is a good example of that. Here's a guy, tremendous talent. He's a third-round pick. Comes out, but he's got issues. He's got issues, with maturity. He's got issues with stupid plays. He can't control his temper. Very talented. Now, as we were putting this tape together, we were going through and looking at all the game film, and it's really hard to tell when you're watching this game film because when they're putting together these highlight reels, all you're seeing is the guy sacking the quarterback, right? You're like, wow, this guy's a beast. He sacked the quarterback every single time I saw him play, but in reality, it's only 5 times out of 16 or 5 times out of 11 games or 12 games or whatever it is. So, you know, at the end of the day, you kind of look at it, and we wanted people again to just see who are these guys, what's going on with them. But it kind of shows you something which is really interesting. Halou getting cut early on, Demontre Moore getting cut this early on. It's a surprise. We put it up there, but we didn't think that it was going to happen, you know, on the day that we released the footage. It just kind of shows you they're not playing around. You know, they're in years past, you're holding on to your good players. I mean, you just are. You know, it's way too early to be getting rid of guys that have a lot of potential. But for whatever reason, it's like what I forget who it was. I think it was Howie Long that used to say, you know, your best ability is your availability. You know, if you're in the training room all the time and you can't get on the field, or you're injured and you're not making it back, or, you know, you keep making penalties, and, you know, we got to hold you out on crucial downs because we're afraid, like in Cincinnati, you know, we're afraid that you're going to get a penalty that'll knock us out of the playoffs. At a certain point, you got to start cutting those guys and getting rid of those guys. So it just kind of shows you two things. One, as I said in the broadcast that we just did, it's going to be that much harder now that we've got a lot of talent. When you coach these guys up, when you've got a good coaching staff, Ken Norton Jr., when you got a Bill Musgrave, when you got a Mike Tice, when you got a Jack Del Rio, you know, they can take guys that are subpar and they can turn them into very pivotal pieces on this football team. And if you got a guy with some talent like a Khalil Mack, we saw what happened just with coaching last year, right? I mean, he had a massive breakout season. We saw what happened when you give Derek Carr a real offensive coordinator, and, you know, what he was able to do last year. So in my opinion, I just kind of look at it and I say, wow, these things are happening early. These guys are on a mission already. It started. They're on a mission. They're not going to wait. They're not going to sit there. Let's see what happens. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Well, we can't release this guy because of depth, and we don't have any pass rushers. Man, that's last year we had one pass rusher. You know, I think this year they're coming out of the woodwork. So I'm surprised because I really felt like Demontre Moore really had an opportunity to kind of be a diamond in the rough type guy too. But, you know, like they say, your ability takes you to the place where you need to be, but your character is going to keep you there, or it's going to knock you out. And unfortunately, it looks like this coaching staff just really didn't care about his upside. They just figured, hey, he's not a fit for our team, and we got some young guys that we believe we can coach up.
Well, yeah, and one of the things that I want to mention too is there was before we came on, we were reading some more about it, and he had some maturity issues. It's kind of reminiscent. I can't even talk tonight. Reminiscent of what we dealt with last year with Seal Moore and Ross Dowling. So I like the fact that the coaching staff and the organization is not going to put up with this kind of behavior. They're setting a standard of what the Raiders are going to be moving forward, and they're sticking to it. And that is going to resonate throughout all of the players on the team, whether they make it or not. This is the way the Raiders conduct business. It's high energy, it's passion, but you know, at the end of the day, we got to respect the game, respect each other. And so I like that part of it. But like you said, you know, every team has a bunch of diamonds in the rough. And I also wanted to make this point. It made me think of this too. All these guys that we talked about, there's a lot of them. There's like 3 or 4 wide receivers. Now there's 2 running backs. I mean, a lot of these guys are undrafted that we're hearing about right now. So whether it's Jalen Richardson that we talked about on the show, whether it's Kowser, Liddell Alexander, the list goes on and on. We got these guys that Reggie is finding and getting to come to this team, because as an undrafted free agent, you're allowed to sign with whoever's approaching you. So Reggie's targeting these guys, and they're making a difference. It's how we got Seth Roberts, for crying out loud. And look what Seth Roberts has become. So when we talk about these guys, we want you to keep an eye on them, but it's not necessarily for them to make the 53-man roster even. It's just to see enough of who's going to make this practice squad even and have a chance to develop. And it's also a testimony to what other teams pluck these guys off the practice squad, just to kind of show you the kind of talent we have in the front office as well of finding these guys and wanting to hold on to these guys. So it's just another great example of what this organization has become, the way that they conduct business, the way that they draft talent, the way that they get undrafted talent. And not only that, but the way that they're coaching them and making them perform on the field and have a code of conduct. It's just simply amazing. Pirate, before we open up the phone,
before we get into that though, sure. What I was going to say too is that, now we're pulling guys for depth. And I think that that's an important consideration to think about. A couple of years ago, we were hoping that teams were going to cut their players so that we could, put those guys right into the starting lineup. The David Amerson's, claiming him off the waiver wire. And even years before that, constantly having different free agents at the cornerback position, bringing in a different set of cornerbacks every year, sometimes getting them through free agency, but also going out there and scouring the waiver wires and bringing guys in last minute. So that's why we wanted to make sure that we weren't going out there and trying to predict, here's what we believe is going to be the final 53, because just like today, 2 new players got added to the mix. So one guy's gone, 2 new players are added to the mix. Now, we don't believe that these guys by any stretch of the imagination are going to be anything more than depth or special teams players. But we do understand that there is going to be some shakeup. There is going to be some change in this football team. So again, it's, we're going to have, right before the final breakdown to 52, we're going to go ahead and come out with who we believe is going to be on the roster. But again, this is just to familiarize yourself kind of with those fringe players. Because like I said, this is their season, man. This is their season. And the more that we get to know these guys, the more that we watch these guys, the more we root for these guys. I was telling Knight, it's funny because every year I've got books here. I do my scouting. I've got Lindy's, Street and Smith, Sporting News, Our Lads Draft Guide. I watch stuff online. I read articles. I watch videos. So I know the roster. And every year, it never fails. There's some guy that I'm like, who in the heck is that guy? Where did that guy come? I've never heard his name. I'm paying attention to, the transactions. And I didn't see us picking him up. And I like, who is that guy? Where'd he come from? So this year, we wanted to kind of put it out there that, we want you guys to kind of know who these guys are before the season starts, and just kind of keep your eye on them. And like we said, root for them, and we'll talk about it in the after the game when we come on live. We'll talk about those guys and Gabe Holmes. It's like Knight was just saying. I mean, you look at Gabe Holmes, undrafted, potentially could make the roster. Maybe not, maybe so. But Gabe Holmes, undrafted guy, Seth Roberts, like we're talking about. I believe that at least 2 or 3 undrafted players are going to make it onto this roster as depth pieces, and a few more are going to go to our practice squad. Seth Roberts, for a couple of years, he matriculated. He was on the practice squad, and then he made it to the, so that's the way it's supposed to work when you have a farm system, right? Which is what Green Bay does. It's a farming system. Okay, you got to bring guys in, and you got to get good coaching, and then you got to get guys out that are not, for whatever reason, doing the types of things that you're doing. So when we see these cuts this year, it's not going to be like in years past where we scratch our head and we go like, oh man, that guy was a good player. He was a good player, maybe had some talent, but we don't know what's going on in that locker room. We don't know what's going on with that guy personally. Is he falling asleep in meetings? Is he sleeping with somebody else's girlfriend? We don't know what's going on. But the fantastic thing, like Knight said, is that we know that everybody's on the same page. Yes, the owner may be out there shopping around, trying to find the best deal for his team, but he's trying to find the best deal for his team. The general manager is out there doing team-friendly contracts, trying to keep this core, trying to build a core and keep it together. And the coaches are there doing their job, and we've got some harmony. So I think it's going to be, I'm really excited because Kenny Stabler's going into the Hall of Fame. And at the exact same time as he's being noticed for what he should have been noticed a long time ago, we are now coming back into prominence. Nothing has happened yet. I know, don't put it in the text. Nothing's happened yet. We may have a 7-9 or a 4-12 season or whatever. I doubt it, but it's a possibility. But I think that we're on the right track. The organization is on the right track. We have the players that we need. We've got a farm system. We got a general manager for the first time in a long time. We got an owner who's not meddling in the team, right? Like all of the guys that are supposed to be doing their jobs are doing their jobs. Like the head coach isn't worried that the offensive coordinator is trying to take his job. Like with Cable and I can't even think of his name right now.
Thinking about Hugh Jackson?
Hugh Jackson from Cleveland, yeah. So the general managers is signing team-friendly contracts. We're not spending a lot of money on aging players. This is their last ticket, out of it. So it's exciting, and it comes at the right time. And we were just excited to be able to put out, our show and to do what we did to coincide with that. For us to put out our show on the eve of the Hall of Fame, when Kenny Stabler's going into the Hall of Fame in a season where our football team is on the up, it's really exciting. It's humbling to talk to the people that we've talked to, and everybody to a man or woman truly believes that this team is headed in the right direction. So that is good enough for me.
No, absolutely. And just one last note to that. We're getting some feedback. Let's see. Okay, let me adjust this real quick. All right. So the foundation has been laid. Reggie's talked about it last season, and this is the foundation that's laid, guys. It was, no matter what happens this season, this is what's being built up. We got a ton of talent on this football team. We can't keep them all. We can only keep 53. And there's going to be some tough decisions, whether it's Michael Rivera or whether it's Demontre Moore, who's already been cut. There's going to be decisions like this made, even maybe a Tywan Jones or a Marcel Reese. We don't know. I mean, I'm not, don't, like Pirate said, don't start writing, hey, I can't believe you said that. What I'm saying is there's some guys that are coming up that have years in, and we got guys that we have to pay. Khalil Mack, Derek Carr, Amari Cooper will be one of those guys. If a guy like Latavius Murray lights it up behind this offensive line, he's due a contract now or he's walking. So we're going to have to pay some players. So we have to make decisions just like Green Bay does. And this is what Reggie's been working to set up, where we got a core of guys that we're going to pay a lot of money to, and we have to have the kind of talent to be able to rotate all the other pieces in to keep this team competitive. So I'm excited to see that. I mean, we come from an era where we loved Al Davis. Al Davis is, for a lot of us older fans, was the reason why we're Raider fans, right? But his way of doing it was a lot different. So he would hold on to these guys and just ride them to the sunset, which I like that part of it too. But in this new day, this new era with salary cap and all that, this is how it works. And we're seeing that foundation built. All right. So as we move on, let's go ahead and open up the phone lines. So Pirate, if you want to open up your end and I'll open up my end, we'll get the phone line number down at the bottom of the screen for y'all. And you guys can start calling us in with your questions. And hopefully you guys have had a chance to watch the broadcast. Once again, it's our Hall of Fame training camp special with special guests, the fight later, Kendra Stabler Moyes and Kim Ross Bush. So go check it out. It's pretty amazing. It's a very humbling experience for the will to win. All right, so moving forward, while we wait for a phone call to drop, we touched base on it here just a second ago. We had the Reggie McKenzie signing too, which we thought was pretty cool. If you guys haven't seen that daily show, I put out my thoughts on it. But Pirate, I don't think that you really had a chance to maybe give your thoughts on Reggie McKenzie getting his extension. You have any thoughts that you want to share since you didn't get a chance really to voice your opinion on it?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I was scratching my head with Reggie McKenzie early on. I do have to say I was not a 100% at Reggie McKenzie's camp the first couple of years. I thought he when you look at it objectively, you'll be like, wow, the guy didn't have a lot of draft picks. He was in salary cap hell. The roster was depleted. All the things that we're talking about him changing. Looks like we got some calls coming through the line here. All right. I'm not exactly, somebody's coming through. Caller, are you on? I'm not, for some reason, it's different than it was last week, so. We've got a call coming in from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Oh, maybe. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and drop these two calls. If you get this, go ahead and call back. For some reason, it wasn't registering.
And for everybody watching, the phone number tonight is 1-401-283-5610. That's 401-283-5610 with a PIN number of 88811. That's 88811. We're looking forward to hearing from you guys, seeing what you guys have to say, what you guys want us to talk about tonight. And like I said,
we just had two calls. See, we're getting two callers right at the exact same time. Can you hear me, caller from Salinas or Albuquerque? All right, caller, can you hear? It's showing me. We got 3 calls coming in now, but for some reason,
apologize for the technical difficulties. We'll figure it out here in a second.
Yeah, this is really weird. Last time they just popped in and started talking, so I'm not sure if we're supposed to be doing something different maybe it's on your end, Jason.
Like I said, it's on my end. You know what? Let me check. Maybe I'm answering it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Bring it back up. No, I'm not connected. What does your service say over there now?
Okay, I think I got it.
Yep, I hear a ring.
But it's calling out, so that might be a problem.
This free conference call is provided by Uber Conference. Joining conference now.
Yeah, it's actually.
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear us, caller?
Hello, is this the W2W?
Yes, it is.
Yes, what's going on, man? I'm Money 204. I mean, I'm a big time listener.
Okay, what's going on? How's it going?
So, good, man, good. It's Friday, man. I'm here at work right now, my night job, but, but it's going good, though, man. The week is coming up.
Yeah.
But the question I have for y'all is a big question, because I called last week, man, but I guess something happened or 2 weeks ago I called you guys, but I think something happened, connection-wise. But the big question I have for y'all is, why isn't Tom Flores in the Hall of Fame when he's the first minority coach ever to be a coach and the first minority coach to win 2 Super Bowls, and Tony Dungy is in the Hall of Fame? That's my question, man. That's my subject for tonight.
All right.
Because speak on that for me. Explain to me why he is not on the Hall of Fame.
Okay, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for calling. And you said it was Money. What was it? Money what?
Money 204.
Money
204.
Money 204. All right, man. Thanks for calling,
sir,
brother.
Man. Hey, and much love to y'all, man. Doing your thing every week, man. Appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. We hope you appreciate it. We hope you appreciate the show.
Always, man. Always. All right, man. Go. Red Nation, man. Let's go.
All right, brother, man. Take care. All right. Before we answer that call, so that's in the queue. Caller from Albuquerque, are you still there?
Yeah. I'm here.
Okay. Caller from Albuquerque. What's your name? Where? Well, we know you're calling from Albuquerque. So who's calling?
Hey, my name is Pedro. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Pedro.
Raider fan.
What's happening, Pedro? What's going on tonight?
People from this town are like fucking Bronco or Cowboy fans, so one of very few,
Sounds good, man.
Yes,
Go ahead.
first time caller. I really enjoy your guys' content. I really enjoy the show. You guys keep improving, and I can just tell the tender loving care that you guys put into it, and all the hard work you put into it. So kudos to you guys for that.
Oh, we appreciate
First and
that.
foremost.
We
And,
appreciate that. Did you get a chance?
Can I have like a?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I believe I can't stand the Hall of Fame. I think they're a bunch of idiots, bunch of people that are haters, if you will. Like they blatantly disrespect one of the best organizations in the history of football in general. You know, it's a disgrace. Like seeing all these bombs that are in, and all the guys that should be in but aren't, such as Tom Flores, Cliff Branch, Jim Plunkett, all kinds of other guys that should be in there. And I'm really pissed off that it took Nate dying for him to actually finally get in. That's total BS. My question to you guys would be, what do you think the media just acted out for the Raiders? I know back in the day, that pissed off a lot of people, you know, specifically Pete Rozelle and all the other owners. But why do you think they blatantly disrespect the Raiders in general?
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and take that one off the air, Pedro. We appreciate you calling, man, and thank you so
Pedro.
much for the kind. Thank you for the kind compliments, Pedro for president, man. Pedro for president. All right. Well.
Yeah. Well,
all right. We'll talk to you again.
You guys, Raider Nation for life.
Absolutely, brother. Call back again and watch the show. We hope you enjoy it. All right, we got one more caller coming in from Parkton, Maryland. Are you there, caller?
Yes, here.
Yeah, we can hear you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey guys, my name is Chris. I'm from Maryland.
Chris, what's going on, man?
Yeah, and I want to touch. Not much, guys. I just want to touch on a topic regarding the stadium that hasn't really been touched on a lot. It's regarding the Fertitti brothers. You know, they recently sold the UFC for $4 billion. You guys think that has anything to do with the Raiders in the stadium in Vegas? You know.
Absolutely, yeah. We had a couple discussions about that very subject. We're never going to know. It's obviously going to be something that there's a lot of things going on behind closed doors. There's the Fertitti brothers. There's a bunch of billionaires that are, casino owners. There's a lot of things that are going on with the Fertitti brothers in particular because of the fact that they own a casino and the NFL not wanting to sell a franchise to somebody that owns a casino. Whether or not the two brothers are going to split their businesses up. They've already sold the UFC, but they want to hold on to the casinos. So that may make it a little bit difficult for them to buy into the Raiders. But Knight, I know you've talked about this pretty much, a lot about the Fertitti brothers and stuff like that. You want to take a little bit of this?
Yeah, the Fertitta brothers, they're very highly interested in being part of the NFL. And I believe that the NFL would be interested in being hooked up with the Fertitta brothers just because of their success with the UFC, what they were able to turn the UFC into. That intrigues the powers that be, whether it be Roger Goodell or all 32 owners of the NFL. I mean, it's a business first, and unfortunately, us fans have to suffer through that, but that's just the reality. So the Fertitta brothers are definitely major players. They're going to be pushing the bill over there in Vegas, but there's a lot of I's that need to be dotted, a lot of T's that need to be crossed, and that's just part of the process moving forward. We can sit here all night and speculate about everything that Vegas has to offer versus to what Oakland's doing, but at the end of the day, they're only releasing what they want us to know, and they're letting us talk about it, and that's what they want. They want us to talk about it. They're letting the powers that be, us, the fans, share our emotions, and it's actually causing a lot of controversy for Mark Davis. But that's a whole nother story. But as far as Fertitta brothers, yeah, they're definitely major players. They got land now. It's a potential stadium site. It's definitely something to keep an eye on as we move forward because I believe that they're major players for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Caller, do you have any other comments?
I think I think of right now. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely,
Thank you,
man.
brother.
Hopefully you enjoy the Hall of Fame show that we did. Go ahead and watch it, and we'll be on here again next week. So give us a call back, and we can talk a little more.
I'll do that.
All right, man. Take care. All right. So while we're waiting for some other calls to come through, we had a question for Pedro. Why the media has it out for the Raiders? Whoa, something's happening here.
It's the hold music.
Oh, it is the whole music.
Yeah. So we just have to mute it or whatever. Yeah, we had a question about Tom Flores. Yeah, I touched base on it at the beginning. We talked about Tom Flores at the beginning of the show. So if you joined the live show early, we did talk about that. We touched base on the fact that he was the first minority coach, not just alone, the first Latin American coach. He was a quarterback for the Raiders. He won 2 Super Bowls, first coach to take a team from the wild card to the Super Bowl and win it. And he gets no love. It blows my mind. And all this talk I've been hearing about Tom Coughlin being a for sure fire, winning 2 Super Bowls with the Giants and all that. It just makes me scratch my head. That's why I mentioned that us as a fan base need to continue to talk about it, continue to put this kind of information out there. There's a lot of great organizations out there that have connections, and the more connections we get, we're going to definitely be using it to push that message forward, that not only Tom Flores, but guys like Cliff Branch and Jim Plunkett as well. And there's many more, but those are my top 3 that actually need to be in the Hall of Fame for sure.
Yeah, caller, you're on. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Fire? My name is Alberto. I'm calling from Tijuana, Mexico.
Hey, Alberto, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just right here. I'm watching you guys' live stream right now. I think my thing's a little bit behind stuff, but now I was calling because I just wanted to congratulate you guys. You guys do a pretty good job. I love you guys' show, man. You guys do a great job. I'm glad that you guys are posting videos, more often now. And well, I don't know what else to tell you, man. You guys are doing a great job, and I do wanted to hit on, talk about Knight. That he's always praising Richie McKenzie, and I'm with him ever since I think it was last year. I think it was. He's always been with him. He's always praised him. He's always think good about him. He just always said, just have patience, and he's right. Ever since he started saying that, I was like, yes, that's true. Because you don't want to go back to the old times, where they would get rid of people and you just keep firing, and there's no consistency. And that's one of the things that I'm really happy about this year and last year too. That we're just having some consistency, and people are just getting along, and then, right now they're not gonna have to learn new things. They're just getting their things ready. Carr, he's gonna be in his 3rd year already. Cooper, his 2nd. Khalil Mack, the beast. Now he's gonna have Bruce Irvin. As you heard him, the Flash brothers. They're gonna just get all kinds of sacks. I can already see that, and I'm just glad that Reggie McKenzie's there and Del Rio. Even though at first, I think everybody was like, oh, they were not very, very excited about Del Rio. But after last year, they saw how he was, getting things down, how he got everything. All the players, they were, with him. They were just like, yeah, let's get this going. And, he has a different perspective. He just wants to get down to business. He's not, over here with some BS, let's bury the ball like Sperano, forget all that. That was some nonsense. So, yeah, guys, keep this up. I like the fact that you guys are, doing a great job. And we'll just keep it going, guys. I watch you guys' video, and I've been wanting to call, but, I don't have time to call, because at this time, this is when I have, some stuff that I have to do. I have to go bowling and stuff. So I'm glad that you guys are doing this, man. I love your show.
Absolutely.
And,
Thank you.
You guys do a good job.
Well, we appreciate that, man. Are you going to the game in Mexico?
You know what, man? I was trying to get tickets, and that thing sold out within the minute.
Yeah.
I wanted it to go, man. I had all my money. I had everything, because me and my cousin, we were ready to go to the game. We were like, oh, we're going to go. Because I live in Tijuana,
Yeah.
And before, when I used to live in San Diego, I would go to, the Raider game when they would play the Chargers and stuff. But now, I'm living over here, and I can't go over there. So it's like, damn, And then when I found out they're going to play in Mexico, I was like, oh, let's do this.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I was trying to get the tickets on the 28th, I looked online and they were all gone. I was like, what the hell happened here? So now, there's nothing I can do now, but I'm hoping that maybe, somebody, because there's a lot of times that people are like, oh, well, they end up not being able to go and they put the tickets on, the NFL ticket exchange or whatever.
Right.
So I'm hoping I can find some tickets there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, man, we appreciate your call, and obviously, thank you for watching the show. We do the best that we can, and we'll continue producing content. So even if we don't hear from you, feel free to comment. The more people that call that we can actually put a voice down to what it is that they leave in the comments, it makes it easier for us to differentiate, between who the real fans are, the real people are, and sort of the people that are kind of transient and move back and forth. So, so we appreciate you calling, man. That's really, really cool.
Hey, I also wanted to mention, Pirate, hey, you do a great job, man. Ever since the first time Knight had you on his show, or like you guys did like a thing together, like first time. As soon as you started talking, I was like, man, you guys are on point. Everything you guys say goes through, Pirate and Knight. Everything you guys say, I'm always like, yeah, that's true. That's true. You guys always hit everything on point. And I'm glad, man. I'm glad to hear some. And I know that, that you guys are not biased. Yeah, there's some things that we are biased, like how many wins we're going to get and all this. We're excited. But, you guys, most of the time, you guys, talk about something and it's like dead on. And I'm like thinking the same thing. It's like, yeah, that's true. That's true. Like almost everything, man. So, you know what? Thank you very much. I'm glad that I got through. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to get through or not, but I was. So I'm just glad, that I was able to make this call, guys. And you guys keep it up. And we'll be hearing from you guys.
Absolutely, awesome, man. Thank you so much.
That was awesome. Good call. Thank you.
Yeah, that's,
All right, guys, well,
we just got cut off. So, that's the whole thing is that, the Oakland Knight is a pretty smart guy. He knew about Reggie McKenzie when I didn't. So he obviously is eating some type of fruit that's giving him or taking a pill that's giving him something superhuman. But, that's the thing is, again, we may disagree, but we agree at the end of the day that, they're just our opinions. And, like I said before, in the very beginning, I was like, I don't know about McKenzie. I think he's got a weak personality. I think he wants to be in control. If Jack Del Rio does not get hired by Mark Davis, I think we're in a totally different place right now. I think we Reggie's getting fired. We have a brand new coach right now. We've got a brand new coaching staff. It's Derek Carr's third coaching staff. I just really felt that Reggie McKenzie, like anybody else, wants to be in charge, and he wants to be the guy that's calling the shots. And he was calling those shots when he had Dennis Allen, scuttling down the hallways, and even when Sperano was there. These guys are not hard guys to control. So, when Del Rio did come in, you took what Reggie McKenzie's been able to do, which is draft some really good talent. And like we talked about, now you put him where he belongs. And I think that Knight explained it beautifully the other day when he said, look, this guy's job is not to field a football team and have anything to do with the wins and the losses. His job is to make sure that he has the material that the head coach and the other coaches are going to use to field a winning team. So when you look back on it a couple of years later, obviously he's done a knockdown, drag out job in many areas, and I think he's learned to work with Jack Del Rio, and Jack Del Rio is okay working with him. But Knight, isn't there a clear difference when you think about the personality of Jack Del Rio as opposed to like Dennis Allen or Tony Sperano? Sperano may have been somewhere in the middle, but just the way that Dennis Allen would do his press conferences and the way that Jack is just kind of like, yeah, it's going to be all right. I'm not going to tell you shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here pandering to you. I'm not here, trying to have you like me or whatnot. My job is to have the tactical advantage come Sunday. And the more I talk to you about it, the less tactical advantage I'm going to have. It's just, he just seems, he has the it factor. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's night and day when you talk about these guys.
Hang on, I'm gonna caller. You're on hold. Go ahead, finish it out.
Okay, so the thing is, it's like night and day, and I think that's where Reggie got caught up. He really did get caught up. There was a lot for him to flip. And for the record, I wasn't always on board with Reggie when I first started watching Reggie and the Dennis Allen and the draft picks and the DJ Hayden. I mean, yeah, I was with everybody on that, but it took me a second because I was an old school Al Davis guy. I'm an older guy, so I'm programmed the Al Davis way. I just was. So when Reggie was making all these moves, I'm here going, I was kind of freaking out. I'm like, what's going on? This ain't my Raiders. But as I really listened to Reggie and what Reggie was trying, I saw what Reggie was attempting and trying to lay out and made sense. And his biggest mistake was he didn't know when to let go of his control and get a guy that can coach this football team. And that's where Mark Davis actually put on his big boy pants. I've said that before. Stepped in along with John Madden, made the correction and said, you know what, Reggie, it's time. This is the guy. He does this, you do that, and it's working out beautifully. But there's a lot of work that was put in by Reggie before Jack was there, and everybody needs to realize that the draft picks were compiling up. Yeah, DJ Hayden was a letdown, but everybody after DJ Hayden even has been on point. So there's a lot of undrafted guys on this football team, a lot of late round guys that are on this team, Latavius Murray, TJ Carey, just to name a few, that were 6th, 7th round picks that are actually starters and focal points on this football team. So much love to Reggie. Let's go ahead and get to that call there.
All right, absolutely. Caller, you're on the air. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, man. It's Watts Raider, man. What's up?
Watts Raider, what's going on?
What's
brother,
up,
man?
Watts?
Hey, man, what's up, y'all, man? Hey, man, y'all been MIA doing big things, man. But yeah, man, I didn't get to watch the whole show, man. I watched about half of the show, man, so I'm going to go back and check it out a little bit later, man. I see y'all got a little format with the footage and the highlights, and you showing, the players actually out there on the field playing, man, and that's the main thing, that's really important because, watching college football is important, man, because, you never know what players are going to get picked up by the Raiders, so for all the Raider Nation, I just want to let everybody know, man, watch college football, man. Pay attention, because you never know who's going to be on the squad. And pretty much, most of the players in college, they pretty much show, their potential, when they playing. So, you want to look at that to kind of see what you're getting, So I think the organization is stable enough, for new players coming in, they can just actually get out there on the field, pretty much and be themselves. So, yeah, man, I like the little aspect that y'all put into the show. But also, man, I was just listening in. Y'all was talking about Reggie McKenzie. And, man, I really just want to just say, like, Reggie McKenzie, man, if I'm not mistaken, when he was in Green Bay, he was under the tutelage of Ron Wolf, if I'm not mistaken. Now, if you look up Ron Wolf was part of the Raiders back in the day with Al. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a connection there.
Yep, absolutely.
Plus, he helped build that Green Bay team, with Brett Favre, later on years of Brett Favre, and then the beginning stages, Aaron Rodgers basically. And, Aaron Rodgers was the backup to Brett Favre and just learned, coming out of college, came up, and he's Aaron Rodgers now. So, as far as the quarterback position, I felt that Reggie was a good pick, and he was going to help stabilize that. And, we ended up getting Derek Carr. So, also, Reggie McKenzie, he was a Raider. He was a Raider. So I feel that there was some loyalty there, and he really knew he had to stick it out because the first couple of years, we had so many bad contracts, man. And we was really trying to start the team from scratch. And the DJ Hayden draft, that draft, I was happy when we picked Hayden. I was like, well, man, we need a corner. We need to start somewhere, and I hope that Hayden can make the team and make that draft, actually be worth a little something. Because Amelia Watson was in that draft too. And, everybody saying he might get cut, this, and that. And I'm like, man, was that a wasted draft? So I hope DJ Hayden, get his shit together. But after that draft, he aced every draft.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of credit should be given to Mark Davis too for having the vision to go ahead get Del Rio in place, him and Madden, and let Reggie do his thing. So a lot of the credit should go to Mark Davis though too, man. I mean,
well, it's kind of
really,
it's kind of like we talked about, Watts. I mean, everybody right now, for a long time, one guy was doing everybody's job, including coaching players on the field, signing contracts.
I was telling somebody that I was like, bro, the coaches didn't have no control over drafting players.
Right.
I was like, Al was just picking everybody,
or even defensive alignments, philosophies. Al Davis is calling down to sideline. Telling them what they can run and what defense and who to play. So, now I think what the great thing about it is that you, like we talked about, like I expressed in the show, you've got an owner that, he's trying to do his best for his team, but he's not meddling in the football operations. You got a general manager who's getting good contracts and, building this football team from the ground up. And you've got a coaching staff that has enough confidence in themselves that they're not worried about everybody else, firing them and XYZ.
And another thing too, Reggie and Jack, man, I mean, they're actually really working together. I mean, you can tell by just looking at the drafts and looking at the free agents and the players that we're getting. I mean, they coming in and they finna align with the system that Jack got. It's not like we just getting players. It's not like we just, we get him. We spending the money wisely. We getting the right contracts in place. And I mean, I feel like all the players are motivated. So, I mean, they're gonna try to play those contracts out, trying to play well, and hopefully they can all stay healthy, So, shout out to Reggie though, man. He's the king right now. So, I mean, he's good.
Absolutely.
He's good. 4 more years. So, I mean, we got a chance to make a run. You know what I'm saying? With this IQ, this football IQ we got going.
Absolutely.
So, hopefully Ken Norton will stay down with us and we can go on a couple runs before he jumps ship. Because they're going to
next.
So hopefully he'll stay down with us. Because I think he's an integral part too. I mean, he's the perfect defensive coach. I mean, Jack is a defensive coach, but we're going to leave him at the head coach. And I mean, I think that Ken Norton is like the perfect fit, for that. But hopefully Musgrave will throw some things in there for the offense, and we'll be rolling, man. We'll be rolling on all cylinders.
Absolutely.
But as far as training camp, man, I'm just gonna let it play out. I mean, we're just gonna have a nice practice squad too. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Yep. We're gonna have a lot of talent.
We're gonna have a nice practice squad.
We're definitely gonna have a lot of talent.
Yeah, man. But the messed up thing is, like I was saying, other teams can just check the players off the practice squad. Is that true?
Sorry, repeat that again, Watts?
Is that true? Like, other teams can just take players off the practice squad?
Yeah, they just have to make a part of the roster. Yeah. If they take them from our practice squad, they got to be on their 53, or they can't take them.
Right. So the first thing is they got to pass. They got to pass waivers first. So as soon as you put them on a waiver, they could be gone right there. Then once they get on the team, basically they could come in and put like who did they do that with
Max
year?
Vallis. Max Vallis is one that we lost last year.
That's right. Yep.
Right, Max Vallis that played for Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Watts, do us a favor, man. Do us a favor. We got 2 guys that are sitting in the queue. You could call back. When we shoot through these guys, but they've been kind of waiting online. So we'll go ahead and address a couple of those things. We appreciate it, brother, and always we want to shout you out as well for all the videos that you're putting out there, and things you're doing. So give us a call back in a little bit. We're gonna switch over to the next couple callers.
Thanks, Watts.
Man, you already know what it is.
Absolutely, brother, man. Give us a call back. Give us a call back. Like.
Okay.
Okay, caller from Irvine, from Indio. Sorry about that. You're on. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is me?
Yep, you're on.
All right. Hey, this is Michael from Southern California. Hey, man, I tuned into the show late, but I'm just calling in to give my shout outs, and you guys doing a good job. Keep the good work for this Raider Nation, baby.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We appreciate that. You got a question for us, Michael? or comment?
This call is being recorded.
Oh,
I just tuned in late. I don't have no questions, but the latest thing I hear is TJ Carey is taking that nickel spot. Did you guys hear
Call
anything about
recording
that?
off.
sorry about that. For some reason, it started recording automatically. You said something about DJ Hayden. Say that again.
Yeah, I heard that TJ Carey is beating out Hayden in the nickel spot. Did you guys hear anything or have any intel?
I heard that DJ Hayden was actually having a really, really good camp. I don't know about you, Knight, but I heard that he was having a really good camp. TJ Carey, I think, is a situational kind of jack of all trades type of guy. Plays some safety, plays some cornerback. So, you know, we're going to have some depth. I mean, I think even the guys like that we talked about, Nico Thorpe and McDonald. I mean, we've got guys. We got 6-footers, 200-pound guys that fit the system, and I think that the battle for the nickel is going to be the smaller guys. TJ Carey's a little bit bigger than DJ Hayden, but I think it's going to come down to those two guys. They're more shifty, they're faster, they're able to kind of stick with those little receivers. Knight, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, same thought. I like the way that DJ Hayden's competing this offseason, but I think TJ Carey has the upper hand just because of his size. But let's be honest, it's a good situation to be in. We got two guys battling it out so intensely that. Oh,
you guys are both talking right at the same time there. So go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish, Knight.
So we got two guys that are battling out intensely, and that's a good situation to be in. It's a win-win. Regardless, we keep them both. We got depth at that spot. I like TJ Carey's chances because I think he's better on the outside as well. So if anything happens to Smith or anything happens to Emerson, you can see TJ Carey slide over. That's why it might be important that DJ Hayden makes his team, because if that happens, then Hayden slides in and plays the nickel. So, I mean, it's one of those good situations to be in when you see two guys competing so intensely at that position. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, Michael, and your thoughts?
Yeah, all right. DJ Hayden was one of our first picks, you know what I mean? I don't want him to be a bust. I want him to pull through, and I think this is his year. To tell you the truth, I think this is Hayden's year. Call me crazy, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be his year, but don't worry about the bust label. I mean, we went through Jamarcus Russell being a bust. We went through Rolando McClain being a bust. And we're in a good situation right now. So if DJ Hayden doesn't make it, there's so much talent around him, whether we're bringing it in through free agency with guys that are still young and can play, or we're drafting impact players, or bringing in some guys on the fringe that, you know, we're getting into the right system and we're coaching these guys up. So I'm not as concerned. I used to feel the same way, like, oh, man, that guy was a first-round pick. Rob Fredrickson, I remember when they picked Rob Fredrickson. Like I said, Greg Biekert was picked in like the 6th or 7th, 5th, 6th, 7th round. I forget what it was. But he was a better linebacker. I mean, there's just, you know, if it goes back to what we've talked about, what me and Knight have talked about before too. Are you reaching for a player if he fits your system, but he's not going to make it past the next round? You know, it's a silly system. Oh, this guy's a first-round pick. Okay, well, you know, sometimes your 6th-round pick is the best player on your football team, not your first-round pick. You know, sometimes you're reaching.
Exactly.
Sometimes a guy falls to you. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I agree with you. I part of me, Michael, still feels like DJ Hayden is going to have a standout year. I think all the defensive backs, believe it or not, with the pressure that they're going to be creating up front, I think all the defensive backs are going to have big years. I think we're going to have a lot of turnovers this year, in my opinion. Now, I'm not going to, you know, put myself out there or make a prediction or anything like that. But I think that they're going to bring a lot of pressure. That pressure is going to force quarterbacks to throw the ball because they won't be able to step up in the pocket and they won't be able to get to the outside. And that means they're going to have to throw the ball off their back foot a little bit too early, maybe a second or two too early. And there's going to be a lot of balls up there for grabs. And when you got the types of corners and safeties, everybody, you know, this is something that we haven't really talked about, but Sean Smith has good hands. David Amerson has good hands. You know, Carl Joseph had 5 or 6 interceptions before he got injured in the first, you know, couple of games, 4 games. And then you've got the guy that went to the Pro Bowl because he picked off a bunch of passes in Cincinnati, right? So all of our guys back there can catch the ball. They're all opportunistic. They all can do what they need to do when they get the ball. So once again, I mean, I think our nickel guys, I think our safeties, I think our corners, you know, they're going to get some jump balls and they're going to get some contested balls. And I think that our defensive line is going to create some havoc. So I wouldn't worry too much. TJ Carey, like I said, is more of a situational player that can play a bunch of different positions. And you don't have to worry about that guy. And that's the important thing, you know. So he's the perfect depth player. DJ Hayden comes with a bigger price tag and obviously more pressure, being a first-round pick. So, but like, so do I. Man. So do I. Absolutely, I do as well. And I believe, like you just said, that potentially this could be his year. Thanks so much, Michael. I don't know if you want to chime in before we let Michael go. Right?
One more question.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
All right. Well, like I'm watching interviews and a bunch of shit on YouTube and TV, and it's always the same question. Now with Charles Woodson gone, who's going to step up and take that leadership role on defense? And I think signing Reggie Nielsen, I think he takes Charles Woodson's spot. He has years. He knows what he's doing. What do you guys think?
Knight, I'll let you go ahead and jump on that one since I was talking about the last one.
No, it's okay. Yeah. I feel the same way. And I think the only difference being when it comes to Charles Woodson and Reggie Nielsen is the fact that Charles Woodson is Mr. Raider right now. He's Mr. Town Business. He has a legacy here. He was here. He was drafted here. He played in a Super Bowl for us here. He came back. He's got a winery in town. He was the face of the franchise the last 2 years before Derek Carr and Khalil Mack made their statement. Charles Woodson will forever be a Raider, and we love him so much. So it's really hard for us to kind of come out and say, Reggie Nielsen, you know, is the new Charles Woodson, because we feel like we're disrespecting Charles Woodson. We're not. We understand what Charles Woodson was and who he is, and that guy cannot be replaced. But if you're going to replace a guy like Charles Woodson, Reggie Nielsen is the perfect fit. He's got the experience. He's a veteran. He's talented. He was tied with the interceptions last season. So I mean, this guy fills the shoes perfectly. Will he be Charles Woodson on the field? I believe he can be. In the Raider Nation, not so much, but I think he can earn his stripes there for sure.
I think he could be the leader in our secondary, because before Reggie, our oldest defensive player was Ronnie Hudson, but he managed the defensive line. So they were saying that Khalil Mack could be the next defensive leader. You know what I mean? But I think he's too young. You know what I mean? But it's all good, man. Raider Nation, do or die, win, lose, or tie. We're doing it, man.
Absolutely.
Gotta go, though, fellas. Keep the good work, man.
Thanks, Michael.
All right, Michael.
And we hope to hear from you again, man. You take care. You know, one of my closing thoughts on that is, I think a lot of times, you know, you look at college football, there's freshmen that come in, and when they're coachable and they get out there and they've got some talent, you know, you don't necessarily need somebody to come in and be the guy that you had before. You know, you can have somebody come in and like I said, if they're coachable, they can have an impact. I think Carl Joseph is going to be, I think a lot of people are not expecting a lot from him. We've had a lot of safeties that haven't produced for whatever reason. And we brought in some subpar guys and guys that just never fit the mold. But I think this kid is going to be different. And so I think it's not going to take him very long. He's a very coachable kid. He's high character, loves football, film junkie, hard hitter, understands what he's supposed to be doing. And I think that they're going to make this defense really easy. You know, the Seattle defense is a fairly easy defense for the safeties, right? So I think that he's going to produce big. I think fairly early on, sure. And we're going to be looking at it like he's not a weakness in this defense. That he actually is somewhat of a strength. All right, we've got a caller coming in. It's an unknown caller. What's your name, caller? Where are you calling from?
That me?
Yep, that's you, caller.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's me, Alberto from TJ.
Oh, Alberto, you're calling back. Oh, were you still on hold?
Yeah. What's up? I was on hold a while ago, but I called back again.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead. You got another question?
Yeah, but no, I was calling because I was actually gonna comment Raider Watts comment where he was talking about how Al Davis, before, he was always, taking care of all the signings and all the contracts, and he was coaching and he was doing everything for the Raiders.
Yeah.
And you know how like the Raiders, for that period of time, well, in his late days, they were already doing that, 10, 12, years ago, they were just sucking, And I think right now, it's kind of reminding me right now what's going on with Jerry Jones. I hate the Cowboys with a passion. I hate them. And I'm glad they're sucking, but I think
Hello?
Did we lose connection?
Oh, there he goes. There he
Hello?
goes. Yeah, we're here.
Okay, yeah. Jerry Jones is making the same mistakes, because he's the general manager. He's making the decisions, and I think his team is little by little he's going down. And, his team is not doing as great, and I'm glad because I hate those Cowboys, and that's basically all I wanted to just say, because I hope that the Cowboys just start sucking, really bad, and the Raiders come up, and I hate the fact that they're always saying that they're America's team and America's team this. And that's all they talk about is, we suck. And I hope Tony Romo gets injured in the first week. All right, guys. You guys have a great night.
All right, Alberto.
All right, thank you, brother.
So much, man. We appreciate you calling. Yeah, you know what, man? I'm trying to write it down tonight so that we know who kind of called in and what it was that they were talking about. And I know that Pedro. We got another call come through. I know that Pedro. Oh, there we go.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right. We may have reached our. Okay. I might have to fire this thing back up. So the phone line's going to be down for a second, just until I can figure out why this thing, when somebody hangs up, is putting me on hold. So Pedro basically was talking about the media and why they had it out for the Raiders. But we also had the question about Tom Flores, right? We had the question of how Tom Flores couldn't be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, again, this is a guy that besides Mike Ditka is the only player to have played in the Super Bowl as a player, to have been an assistant coach, and to have been a head coach in the Super Bowl. And win the Super Bowl, and the first Hispanic starting quarterback, the first minority head coach to win to win a Super Bowl, and he's also a radio announcer. So he's done things. He stayed in the sports industry even after, some guys, they do their thing and then they just kind of fade off and, go and do something else. This is a guy that stayed close, also coached with the Seahawks. As much as we can talk about Plunkett or we can talk about Branch, this guy, I mean, this is a glaring weakness here on the part of the competition committee and the Hall of Fame committee. Again, just ridiculous. There are at least 3 players that obviously deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, more, but there are at least 3 players that you could say, look at their stats, look at what they did, look at the teams that they were on, and they're not there. But Tom Flores, I think, to me, now that Kenny Stabler is gone, Tom Flores is this guy that's just like, whoa, this is crazy. Just breaking all these different barriers. It must have been difficult to play the position, but imagine all the pressure of playing it as the first Hispanic quarterback. It must have been difficult to win a Super Bowl, but imagine, you're getting all this attention because you're the first Hispanic coach to ever do it. Kind of like with Lovie Smith and Tony Dungy were both, playing against each other. One of you is going to win. So that was even easier, I think, than what Tom Flores had to do, right? Because somebody was going to win that Super Bowl. So I don't know your thoughts on this, but again, I just wanted to go back. I know a couple of times we've actually, people have called in and asked questions that we weren't able to get to them, but I know that those were the 2. The stadium, Chris from Maryland was asking a little bit about the Fertitta brothers. We got to that, but Pedro, basically with why the media has it out for the Raiders, and then also I forget who it was that called first that said, why is Flores not in the Hall of Fame? So you want to go ahead and tackle those 2?
Yeah. Tom Flores, yeah, like you touched on all bases. It just blows my mind that guy like Dungy's getting in and Flores is still not in there. And the big thing for me too, it's always been that how hard they always talk about living in someone else's shadow. You know, whether it's a quarterback taking. Hold on 1 second. It's all right.
Man,
Okay,
you're
so
just-
a quarterback, whether it's a quarterback taking over for a great quarterback or a wide receiver filling the shoes of a wide receiver. How about what Tom Flores did, filling the shoes of John Madden? He coached with Madden and everything, but he picked up right where Madden left off and he carried it to 2 more Super Bowls. And he did it with a different quarterback and some different pieces. So it wasn't like he took the pieces that John Madden were using. Some of them were there, but everything that Tom Flores has done screams Hall of Fame. It just blows my mind that he's not in there. So, and it's not a matter of will he get in, because he will get in. I believe he'll get in, but it's just obvious. This is just another instance of why these guys are not in there is because of the feud that the league and owners had with Al Davis, period.
And not even just the league and owners. I mean, we've talked about it before. You've got people that are on the Hall of Fame. There's you know, and I don't remember if it was Kendra or Kim that said it, but one of them said, you know, there's not enough transparency there. You know, it's tarnished when you can use the power that you have to keep somebody out. Very much like, you know, the Pete Rose issue. Hey, who cares what the guy did? You know, what type of player was he? He made a mistake. He committed a crime. You know, this or that. Now, again, there's going to be some crimes that you know, like the guy from Penn State. You know, obviously that's a whole different thing. Or like Ray Caruth, you know, murders his pregnant girlfriend. These things are different. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, hey, go out and do whatever the heck you want to do. But I am saying that, okay, there's probably a lot of players that bet on games that don't get caught. And the majority of them probably aren't like Johnny Hustle, right? Or Charlie Hustle, I'm sorry. So at the end of the day, when you look at it and you say, okay, well, we didn't know until recently that, all right, you know, this guy may have bet on some of the games that he was in or as a coach, whatever. But we're talking about as a player. And I understand that some of those things are going to go into it, just like we're talking about with Tom Flores. We're talking about him as a player, as assistant coach, as a head coach, right? So even as a broadcaster, we're talking about all of those different things. But, you know, I think when they're looking at certain players, they're just looking at them as players. And they're saying, well, this guy was a drunk. This guy was a drug dealer. This guy, you know, punched his wife or did whatever it was. And they're going to take away, you know, what this guy may have done. Now, again, if we're talking O.J. Simpson, okay, you know, maybe we keep him out of the Hall of Fame. When you're talking Ray Caruth, yeah, we keep that guy out of the Hall of Fame. But if a player comes back and shows that, you know what, hey, man, I made a mistake. I'm human. You know, I had an addiction. I had a gambling problem. I, you know, blew all my money, did X, Y, and Z. But, you know, while I was playing, man, I was one of the most incredible players of all time. That to me is what we should be paying attention to. So we got another caller coming through here from Visalia. Caller, you're on. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Tim Moat calling from Visalia.
Tim Moat calling from Visalia. How's it going, Tim?
Doing good. I think you guys have been doing a great job.
Appreciate that.
Better and better.
Well, I appreciate that.
My question is, with football regular season about ready to start tomorrow a month now.
Yep.
How important is getting a good start in the games? Is that we have our third preseason season game is going to be against the Titans, and we're going to see them in the third week of the season as well. And we're going to have to travel towards the east three of the first 4 games. How important is it going to be for us to get that great start, and how difficult it's going to be? Because all 3 of the games we're traveling back to the east are going to be at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Great question. That's a great question, Tim. We appreciate the comments. Knight, you want to go ahead and start off on this one?
Yeah, I believe that traveling does play a big part to fatigue. Mainly, it's a fatigue type situation. But these guys are professional. They've been doing it since they were in college. Just traveling. I mean, traveling is part of the game. Once they hit the collegiate level, traveling becomes part of the game. It's also the way that you're coached. It's the way you're prepared, the way you handle your traveling. And I agree. I mean, we talked with the Violator about this, and Violator said the same thing. It's part of the game. At the end of the day, you got to go. You got to dig deep. You got to have that will to win, and you got to go in there and fight. And I believe that this team has that kind of fight. Now, I'm not going to sit here and overlook the fact that there's this traveling issue that the league put on us once again, but I do believe that this is the kind of team that could overcome it. We're young, we're energetic, they're disciplined. The culture of the team is well grounded. So I like our odds better than years past. I know it's been a problem years past, but I think you saw that starting to change last season, and I think you're going to see it come to fruition this season, that we can travel no matter what the schedule is and put our will on the opponent. Your thoughts, Pirate?
Yeah, I mean, again, if you look at, and again, I don't want to, we always use analogies, but if you look at, Navy SEALs, or you look at firemen, or you look at, whoever it is, these emergency responders that have to go in and kind of do their job when they're tired. That's what you're training for. That's what training camp is about. It's about going until you can't go anymore, and having that will to win, like you said. It's funny that that's the name of our show, but it is having will. That's what Al Davis was talking about. He was saying the fire that burns brightest is the will to win, to not quit, to not surrender. We don't care if we're playing against the referees. We don't care if we're traveling across country. We're coming. We're going to take what we want. That's what it means to be a Raider. And for the first time, we've got a coach. Well, not for the first time, but it's probably since John Gruden, we've got somebody that's coming in here with a little bit of attitude that expects to win. He's not somebody that's trying to build something and hoping that the schedule is going to fall right and this and that. We've got a guy that can lead this ship. We've got a young core. We've got some phenomenal players. There's just a lot of things that we can look at and be excited about this season. So it's certainly going to affect us in some ways. Like I said, jet lag is real. I've flown from California to New York, and I've flown to Hawaii and, Chicago and back and forth. Now, I haven't done that, 4 times in a week, but there are business people that do those types of things. So I think they're going to have this team. I when you look at a coach like Jack Del Rio, like Violator said, it ain't going to be enough to talk about how, you can't sleep or you're tired or you got to this or that. It's about going out there and doing what needs to be done. And I think that these guys are going to have this football team, ready to do that and to go out and to compete against whoever they have to compete against. Your thoughts, Tim, before we let you go?
I agree with you guys. I think they're going to do really well. My concern, though, is since we do face Titans in the 3rd preseason game, and it is basically to get ready for what we all concentrate on, and only 3 weeks later we play them again, I'm worried about how much we're going to be able to adjust with the type of schedule in the early that we have, or they don't have as much time because they have to fight back and forth to get in those extra practices for that type of game. You just faced them 3 weeks before.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much, Tim. We're going to go ahead and answer your call off the air because we got 3 other callers that are sitting here in the queue. So just keep on listening.
Have a good night.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate you calling. Hopefully we hear from you again soon. The bottom line is the Titans are going to have to play us too. And they've got the same dilemma, right? Do you come out? Right. Do you show a bunch of stuff? What do you do? How do you do it? So I don't get quite as worried. I think the preseason, even the 3rd game, you're probably going to see a lot of stuff that's just very basic. You're not going to see plays that we're going to use in week 3, where it's going to be about blocking schemes. It's going to be about knowing where you're supposed to be and getting there fast and not thinking about it and doing those types of things. And if you do it right, then it's not really going to matter who you're playing or how you're doing it. So go ahead and jump in there on that one real quick because we just got lots of guys coming in here.
Cool. That's awesome. Real quick, guys. That's the idea. It is a dress rehearsal. It's something that, look at 2 years ago when Derek Carr had his first start against the Seattle Seahawks in the final set. We had to play them later on that year too. And Derek Carr diced these guys up, man. He made them look like Swiss cheese. And that's pretty much how he got the starting job for our team. Rightfully so for Matt Schaub. But by the time we played that team and they actually became scheme ready and they started disguising things and playing their starters at a high level, we were no match. We were no match for the Seahawks. And it's going to be the same thing here. Dress rehearsal, yes. Going to be very vanilla? Absolutely. We're going to be running out of a lot of base stuff. even our offense is going to be real base stuff, real simple routes. And we're just going to have to beat them to the punch. It's just to get the chemistry down and the flow going, not so much about the plays we are running. That's all done in practice. So as much as it is a concern, it's not as big of a deal as maybe sometimes we could make it. But that was a great point to bring up, Tim. We appreciate your call.
Absolutely. We've had a lot of really good questions here tonight. So that's kind of cool. We haven't done this in a little bit, so it is kind of cool to get back into the swing of things. Mm-hmm. All right, caller, Albuquerque, New Mexico. You're on. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, man, it's Pedro again. Just wanted to say real quick, screw the damn media. They're full of crap. They just like to hate, try to sway people into liking BS. It's like, no, you should be into sports and like your team, support your team without these shit's just telling you, hey, you gotta like this guy because they're kissing somebody's butt. Like, screw that. Yeah. And as far as like Raiders that aren't in the Hall of Fame that are worthy of going in, we're not completely biased. It's like dudes like fucking Terrell Owens. He should be in the Hall of Fame just on his stats alone. You know, he has great statistics, receiving and everything, but he's not in because they make excuses. You know, and it's ridiculous. And you can start doing that crap and actually let the people in that were actually the best at what they did. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like don't be heroes. Just let them in. Like they're the best of the best in that sport, right? Same with basketball and other sports, they should do that, right? And baseball, don't even get me started on the whole team goes BS. Like he gambled. I'm not saying it's right, but acting like he freaking murdered somebody, or it's crazy, man. It's like what the hell?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we were talking about. Is the bottom line is that unfortunately they're going to lump you into a couple of different categories. What you did when you played and on the field and what you did when you were off the field. And sometimes because we've had the most atrocious acts like O.J. Simpson or Ray Caruth, unfortunately there's an argument to say, hey, we do have to consider what this guy did off the field. We can't just put it all, on the field. But when you look at a guy like Tom Flores, who again breaks all of these different barriers during the time when these things were not easy to do, right? And has the success that he has. Not only does he do it, but he wins a Super Bowl. He's part of a Super Bowl team as a player with the Chiefs. He's an assistant coach. He's a head coach that wins the Super Bowl. Again, he's stayed in broadcasting. He does TV. He's a publicity guy, good guy in the community. There's absolutely no reason. Jim Plunkett, same thing, fantastic guy. Again, a guy that probably, like I said, was on the scrap heap. If he'd gone anywhere else and not sat down, Al Davis saw something in him and said, look, you just need to sit down. Imagine what could have happened with David Carr had somebody done that to him. Hey, look, why don't you just sit down, get your mind right, get your body right, and then we're going to play to your strengths. We're not going to ask you to do, we're not going to ask you to work on our system. And then when you look again at Cliff Branch, I mean, iconic, obviously a great player, has better numbers than a number of wide receivers that are in the Hall of Fame at this point, Steeler wide receivers. But at the end of the day, he obviously deserves to be there as well. So there are many players, and I agree the media is a little bit biased because they've all bought into the fact that Al Davis was some evil man.
Darth Vader, yeah. He was a fucking pioneer, though. He revolutionized. He hired the first minority head coach in our show, and a female executive. He was a pioneer. And, of course, Tom Flores is a badass. And
absolutely.
What the heck,
Absolutely, man. But the only thing that we can do.
I don't understand the hate. It's like, if you don't like my team, that's fine. Don't touch shit, Well, that's impossible. People talk crap all the time, but.
Well, you're gonna get a little bit of that, but I think, like we said, when you have clear-cut guys that should be at the front of that line and they're not, they're treated like second-class citizens and they're held out simply because of old wounds, because somebody treated you badly or whatnot. That's just wrong, and it shouldn't be allowed to take place, particularly in today's NFL. These were the guys that made the game what it is today. Tom Flores, and Jim Plunkett, and Cliff Branch. I mean, these were the guys from yesteryear that were taking, in the 70s or in the early 80s, they were taking it from, kind of going from a struggling business concept to, okay, now we're people are watching us on TV more and more and more, and we're going to get these big deals. And then all of a sudden it's exploded. So these guys put in the blood, sweat, and tears, and unfortunately they get nothing for it. And that's what's so sad.
It really is, man. And I really appreciate you guys doing what you do. And hopefully, I'll be able to come in up here if you guys will allow me the opportunity, because this is fun to talk about,
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. We're going
to get them the disparities, the nipples.
No, don't worry about it, man. We'll be here. We'll be talking football, and come the season, we'll be here after the game. So we're planning on sharing the experience together. So we certainly hope that you're going to be part of that community.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love the Raider Nation. Everybody's chill as hell, and screw the Donkeys, screw the Chefs, screw the freaking Chargers, all those teams, the Cowboys especially. I can't stand them either.
That's it.
The Raiders. Jerry Jones is an idiot.
Yeah. Well,
he destroyed it just because he was petty and jealous.
Yeah, well, it's hard to tell guys like that they're doing anything wrong, So he's gonna have to learn from his own ways and come to grips with it. We appreciate you calling, brother, and like we said, call back again next week. We'll be here. And, we'll have something, a little more stuff to talk about. I mean, next week is the game, so we're going to have to figure that one out. But yeah, give us a call back next week. Thank you so much for calling, man.
Thanks, brother.
Much love and harmony and peace to everybody. Raider Nation.
You too, brother, man. Take care.
All right, later.
All right, I think Watts Raiders back on the line.
Yeah, man. I was just checking out the convo. I appreciate the previous caller, man. You know what I'm saying? He really just kept it all the way real. But, man, hey, the media, man, as far as I'm concerned, man, I just want to say that they're a little bit right about the Raiders now. You know what I'm saying? They see the train coming. We coming. So I'm not worried about what the media talk about. You know what I'm saying? We finna handle it on the field. I mean, I like the hype. I'm hyped for my Raiders anytime. It don't matter. But I mean, some of the things that some of the media members are pretty much on track, man. And I'm not really knocking them for that, But at the same time, I really want to just talk to the folks that's really doubting the still. The season's going to start. So all the Broncos fans that's in the dream world, I made a video about them. And I just want to let them know that, they don't have to see us, man. You know what I'm saying? It's over for them cats. We finna run the AFC West from now on, period. So I'm not worried about it. Everybody's like, oh, y'all gonna be a one-trick pony. No. We finna come back stronger every season. And we're gonna build off this team, and we're gonna make it stronger and stronger until we dominate like the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? Just like that. We finna dominate like the New England Patriots. So I want the whole Raider Nation to get ready, because we finna come hard and we finna play every game like it's a championship game. So, hey, don't worry about what the media talk about. Take it with a grain of salt, because we know our team. We done seen the team grow from a seed. You know what I'm saying? Now it's starting to form into a tree. And it's going to keep growing until it's a big oak tree. You feel what I'm saying? So don't let none of that BS distract you. We know like I said, we know what we've been through. We seen this team been built up. So don't worry about that. We know our team better than they do. And we know all the other teams better than they do too. So that's why I'm saying that we finna go on a nice little run. So just get ready.
Well, one thing that I think about when we're talking about that, going on a run, and what Knight was saying about Reggie McKenzie, is the cool thing is Reggie McKenzie had a small window to go in there when we were doing terrible and to find a quarterback and to find a game changer on defense. Because now from this point forward, like you're saying, Watts, from this point forward, we're probably going to be picking in the late 20s, early 30, 31.
That's what I was telling Ryan earlier. That's what I was telling him earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. So that's the thing, is he came in and he figured out a way to get those pieces that he was going to need to get. And he struck gold. You know, if you're the general manager over there with the Texans, you're kicking yourself. Or some of these other guys that, they come in and they take over a team that was 8-8, or, and they've only got a couple of years to do something. So, like you said, we got the quarterback, we got the game changer on defense. We've made some great young free agent acquisitions that we're drafting depth and bringing in different types of players. So what are your thoughts on that, Knight?
Yeah, no, this is where everything gets really interesting. The flow, the interchangeable pieces we talk about, the younger players coming in, and now that we're going to be drafting late, it just going to shows how Jack's making out his list and how Reggie goes shopping. It's really exciting to see all this come together, and you see the growth of this football team. The proof is always not so much in what the analysts say. People, we are analysts here. We try to analyze the team to the best of our abilities from what our knowledge is and what we shot. But we never try to be shot callers. We never try to pretend that we're have crystal balls and we can see the future. We just know that, hey, this guy looks good. This guy looks good. He fits this, and this is why. And all of it's starting to come together. So, hopefully we'll be picking 32 next year. That would be nice.
Yeah, man, it's like they're like first graders, like little kids when you're growing up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we got a collection of like youngsters, like it's like the little homies. I guess I don't know, and Carr, man, it's like the perfect leader, man, because he's spiritual, man, and he really loves the game. And I made a video about not comparing him to Brett Favre, but just showing some similarities and kind of like his mentality. So you guys check that video out. But he reminds me a lot of him as far as just his love for the game and the love for his teammates, and just doing everything possible to win, and also staying humble too. Really just staying humble and just out there playing football. So. He's the most important player on the team, and we so solid right there. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm looking at fantasy football this year, and I'm like, shit, I'm drafting Derek Carr. Fuck everybody else. I'm drafting my quarterback again. You know what I'm saying? So I'm feeling good about that, man. I'm really feeling good about that, and hopefully this year, the only thing about Derek Carr, I just hope that he can be able to change the plays at the line sometime and kind of see what he sees out there on the defensive side and see if he can, move some pieces around the defense for him, for the receivers to be able to make the plays. So I just hope he takes that step. He's going to be pretty good. I think maybe about 12 interceptions. Throw some picks, but he might have about 40 touchdowns. I think he can hit 40. If he can get Coop the ball more the second half of the season, we might be clicking on our cylinders, and I think he could probably get to that 40 touchdowns. But I'm taking that Michael Crabtree this season. I just feel it.
Yeah,
I feel it. So we ready, man. We all the way ready. But not getting off subject, I want to holler at Knight, man, and just ask him, hey man, where's Avon, man? Where is Avon? It's kind of quiet, man.
Yeah, man. He's in Corona, California right now, taking care of his aunt, learning how to ride horses. I think he's working with some mules. But you could always find him Tuesday nights on the Fallout Shelter, man. You should call in and give him a bad time, man. You should call in and wrap it up with the dude.
Avon's silly, man. You know what I'm saying? I had to call and give it to him on my 49ers video, man. So when you go check out that video, that's what the video is directed to. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, he just got on my page talking madness, and I had to sit him down. So he's just kind of quiet. Him and Chilla Gorilla, both of them cats. Chilla Gorilla from the Broncos fan base. And, they trying to get me to join the TTC now, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm chilling, man. I just want to do my thing in the shadows. Plus, I'm a vigilante, so I don't need no gang. And then the Raider Nation, we are gang, so I don't need two gangs.
Yeah, yeah. We got the RWA over there. They're holding it down. There's a new cat named Matty on a Mission. He's doing pretty cool too, man. You guys ain't checked out Matty on a Mission or Watts Raider? Go check him out. It's all good stuff, man. It's not real, guys. It's all for fun.
I'm just saying, I'm a pit bull that been caged. I've been a pit bull that been caged for 12 years, man. And nobody for my Raiders. Nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel you, brother.
You guys, man. But when I did the video, I thought about you, Mike, the whole time.
That's cool, brother, man. It's all in good faith and all in good fun. We represent Fans Against Violence, so it's it's funny because we represent Fans Against Violence, and I watched you guys go at it. It's hilarious.
On my part, it's strictly football. It's nothing personal. It's strictly football. Yeah, man, it's all good, man. But all the other fans been quiet, man. You just the two knuckleheads, you know what I'm saying? So, we good with that, man. We good with that. But yeah, man, I see y'all making moves, doing big things, man. Keep doing your thing, man. I love y'all. Y'all my brothers, man, and y'all inspired me a lot, man. And I'm gonna keep dropping vids, and I'm getting requests for vids too, man. So I'm kind of, I guess I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, man. So I'm gonna keep striving hard, Like I say, I follow the teachings of Al Davis. I mean, I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? So I'm committed to excellence, just win, all of that, man. So I'm gonna keep doing my thing, watch Raider forever, man, and Raider Nation for life, man. I love y'all, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And also when you put together some of these videos, we're always going to be looking to, try to collaborate and stuff like that. So you notice like some of the things that we do where we'll put in other people's music or whatever it is. We were thinking about trying to expand to do a little something like that where we have a little commercial, maybe during the daily show or even during the live shows like we're doing right now where we've got a couple.
Maybe you guys can send me some footage, man, and I'll cut it up for y'all. And, you can send me, Google Drive. You can send it to me through Google Drive through my email. If you want to do that, just send me some and I'll put something together. Let me know what you think. Just play around, see what you can come up with, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because, the video editing is my thing, man. I went to school for that, man. I went to Full Sail University for that, man. You know what I'm saying? But look, I ain't graduated though, but I'm just taking my knowledge.
Nice.
Right there. They wanted too much damn money. I mean, shit. Hey, they wanted like $17,000 a check.
Yeah.
but yeah, man. I mean, that's really was my thing, man. I just took the Raiders, my love for the Raiders, man, and I channeled it with something I'm good at,
Yeah.
So that's basically been my plan. I mean, with the whole thing. Then I took copyright law, all of that, man. And it just, the spirit of Al Davis is working, man, in many ways, man. Believe that, man.
Absolutely. Well, then we'll hit you up. We'll hit you up and maybe talk about what we've all got going on. I mean, that's the whole thing is we want to be able to try to collaborate and all work together as we're heading closer into the season. So
for sure. I mean, because I mean, as far as the video editing thing, I think I can help you guys. Like, say, you might need some footage or you might give me an idea or something and see what I can do and just save you guys some time. I mean, it's the internet. We can send shit through satellite. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how we do it. So, all right, cool, brother, man. All right, so we will hit you up. We'll talk to you and we'll figure it out.
For sure. Love you, Night, man. Love you, bro.
Love you too, brother, man. You take care, bro.
All right, man. Y'all be easy.
You too, man.
All
Ladies and gentlemen, Watts Raider. Go check him out on YouTube. Watts Raider.
Watts has left the building. Oh, God. Here we go with the dang. All right. The phone lines are down for the night. I don't understand what's going on with that. So,
yeah, we're approaching that second hour anyway, so we're good. Wow, what a great night for phone calls. I'm gonna have to admit, man, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's all right. So we got about 10 to 15 minutes left on the show. Is there any questions that we didn't get to that you have jotted over there, or anything that we didn't elaborate on, or anything?
Well, just No, I think that's it, man.
Cool. All right. So, should we talk about maybe it's the format for next week for these guys, because we do have a game on Friday.
Yeah.
So we should maybe kind of touch base on that. So the way it's looking right now, the plan is to put together the first look of what a pregame show is going to look like, and so that will probably all goes well. It's going to drop Thursday, because the game is on Friday. It's not going to be like that every week, guys. Obviously, we will continue to drop our pre-games on Friday, but preseason's a little different, so we're going to try to drop the pre-game broadcast on Thursday, and then obviously we will be live on Friday, but we won't be live until after the game is ended. So directly after the game is ended, you could find us right here, and we'll open up the phone lines, and we will talk about what we finally saw on the field. But talk it out. Yeah, football 1 week away, guys. 7 days away, literally almost to the hour. We're gonna see our boys on the field. Now it's gonna be vanilla. It's gonna be real basic concepts and all that. We know that, but man, it's gonna be Raider football. We're gonna see that silver and black on the field, man. I'm excited. I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good. It's gonna be a good thing. I mean, again, like I said, we'll probably be releasing our regular. When we go into the regular season, it'll be a Friday night drop for our pregame show, and then a Sunday either afternoon or evening live wrap-up show each week, where we are going to take your guys' calls and talk about it. So we're looking at basically a Thursday in preseason, a Thursday show, regular season Friday show, where we're going to break down the opponent that's coming up, and we're going to talk about what we think, and then we're going to make our picks and predictions and do that type of thing, and then go into our wrap show. And then the following week, we will start the process of looking at what happened the week before just a little bit, because we will have the live show where we'll be talking about it. But we are going to have a little recap, and like I said, we'll just have a cool pre-game show, and we'll have a post-game wrap up each week. And we're also planning on doing our daily shows now that we're kind of in this rhythm. This show took a long time, like I said, because of the travel. And getting together with the different people and all of the different things that were going on, it was really hard to do the daily show, because so much time and effort was put into building those sets and getting all the graphics coming together, and all of the stuff you see. Well, I mean, not in total. There's a lot of graphics that I used from the internet, but most of it is just, it's put together. So it takes a while to get all that stuff into place. But we feel like we're in a good spot at this point. And so we'll be doing the pre-show, the after show, and then we'll have a weekly review show. And again, I just want to point this out, because I know that, we've been getting a little bit of flack for it about whether or not we're, breaking news or we talk about Raider. We just want to put it out there again. Our show really is just a review of what other people are saying. It's not our personal opinions. We're not leaving anybody out because we don't like them or we're biased or whatever. If we read an article by somebody, our job is going to be on a daily basis to sit back and talk about it and give our opinions, and that's it. So it's kind of difficult to be wrong about that, or you guys are this, you didn't mention this guy. Well, the article didn't mention it, and that's why we're not mentioning it. But we'd be happy to leave our comments in the description. So we love all of the comments, even the criticism. The one thing that kind of gets me is when people don't understand what it is that we're trying to do. We're not trying to come up with our own stories. We're not trying to break news. As you could see in this last week, night came on one day, and there was a lot of stuff going on, Reggie's deal and all this kind of, but that wasn't the main focus. Our main focus was to put together the Hall of Fame extravaganza tonight, and to do a just service to the people that took the time to share with us their thoughts on Kenny Stabler, and to present something for you guys that is getting better and better and better. We got some stuff in the wings, like I said before. If you liked what we did tonight, we got some really cool things coming down the pike, and we want to keep on saying that. So, but we do have some additional guests, footage, graphics, different things that are going to be happening, the way the show is going to be set up. We just hope that you guys like it, and you guys appreciate it. That's all that we ask.
Yeah, and just to touch base on that too, my even before the Wheel to Win started, was never my intent to be a breaking story. I'm not a reporter. I don't have connections inside buildings and stuff like that where people are giving me information to break. So if I was to come on here, or Pirate was to come on here and be like, breaking news, Reggie McKenzie got an extension. A lot of you guys are going to be like, breaking news, dude. I read that like 2 hours ago on Twitter. I read that. I saw that on Bleacher Report or Chat Sports and all this. So our goal is to take it, read it, review it, give our opinion on it, but even take it a step further and try to speculate on what could be going on really behind the scenes and what they're not leaking out, and just having fun with it. Just kind of try to dig deep and get a new perspective on what's being reported, and not so much being the guy that says, hey, we're the breaking news guys here. We're not. We don't claim to be.
You know what? And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, the guys that do go out there and do that, the Scott Bears and all of these other types of guys that, even some of these guys that you see on TV that are breaking news in an elevator somewhere. They hear from an agent, or they do this or they do that. Most of the stuff is just kind of regurgitated, and one guy breaks it because his agent, the NFL allows his agent to talk to somebody else, or however it works. And if that's your gig, then that's great. I obviously wouldn't be talking badly about Stephen Bear or Ian Rappaport or any of those types of guys. I mean, that's great for them, but we're not trying to be that. We're much more concerned with just more being like a Mike and Mike type thing, sitting on here, having some good conversation, and hashing it out, talking to the people and hearing what you guys have to think about what we think, and going back and forth. So you guys are a big part of this show. But again, we want to make it clear we're not trying to do anything like that. We're simply trying to present the best, most professional material on YouTube, and that's it. This is our platform. We were talking about it earlier today, and it was kind of funny because it was like, you hear a lot of things. Oh, these guys are trying to be this or they're trying to be that. And we thought about it, are we trying to be Sports Center? Are we trying to be inside the NFL? But in reality, it's like we're just trying to be the best YouTube show that we could be. This is our platform. We're not trying to go off somewhere else. Knight's got his gig on the radio, and that's cool for him. But for me, it's just, this is the medium, this is the platform, and we can do everything that we need to do from right here. We have a blast doing it. You guys calling in and hanging out with us and just passing the time until we can get to the football season. This is my first time doing it. I'm a rookie. I don't have the pedigree of somebody like Knight or the other guys that are out here on YouTube, Mikey and Raider Nation News and Raider Greg and Raider John, all these different types of guys, that have been doing this for a long time. So, I'm fairly new, but in the past, I just sort of watched other people, and now I'm just trying to help people, get through to next Friday, when we get our first little fix. So, again, don't take it too seriously. We don't, the only thing we take seriously is that we're as professional as can be. We try to come on and do the right things, but all the arguing or the bickering or, all the hate or whatever it is, it's, we welcome that if that's what you have to do. We pray for you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We pray for you. We're like, hey, God, that one guy that keeps doing the thumbs down on every one of our videos, it's got to be the same guy. Pray for that man. Pray for his thumb. He just doesn't have the strength in his wrist to turn it up. You know what I mean? Give him strength. Give him strength in his wrist, God. We can all pray together. If we all got together, if the Raider Nation all got together, we might not get that one thumbs down. But you know what? That's a joke. Like we've always said before, when we don't get that one thumbs down, we might start taking it a little bit too easy and, not work quite as hard. So, anyways, I just wanted to clear that up because, like I said, it always seems like there's people that don't quite understand what it is that we're trying to do when we're doing it. Hey, come over here. Sorry about that. Got one of the dogs here that's trying to get in the door. So go ahead there, Knight.
Yeah, no, I think it was well said. You know, we respect everybody that does what they do. Everybody has a different way of doing things on the same platform, and we all are here to do the same thing. It's talk Raider football, and there's other people outside of YouTube that do their thing, and they're doing a great job, and they do great content. We support everybody. We just want to be the best that we are. We just want to be the best that the Will to Win could be. We're not trying to be anybody else. We're not trying to beat up on anybody else. We try to take it to our own personal levels. We use the word professional a lot, and sometimes professional means the way that we present ourselves, and it has nothing to do with what I wear on my shirt or what's on my hat. This is the laid back show, so I threw on my laid back clothing so I can wear my Raider shield. But when I'm doing the broadcast and when I'm doing the daily review, it's all business. It's a business approach that we're to take to it, and it's what we just believe in. And there's something to be said about having a level of professionalism. It doesn't make us different as fans.
Also, we one of the things too is, just so that people know, when we're doing the actual show, we're trying not to get copyrighted for having the hats and having this and having that. That's a hard thing, is that, YouTube is going to run commercials. They're going to put advertisements in our videos. They're going to do a bunch of different things. So, at the end of the day, we're trying hard to just rep our brand, but obviously, our color schemes, the things that we're doing, the things that we're talking about are obviously Raider oriented. We love the game. We know our team. We come on here, we talk. We're obviously fans. So, it's just kind of one of those things. I know everybody's like, how come they don't wear a Raider hat or Raider shirt or whatnot? But, if we had to go on Sports Center, if we had to go on NFL Live, if we had to go on any show, you're probably not going to go on that show, wearing your team gear. You're probably going to go on that show wearing something nice to do. So that's just part of that. And if it offends anybody, we're sorry about that, but it's what we're going to do. But again, it doesn't have anything to do with us not being 100% dedicated to this football team, to this fan base. I was working until 2:00 in the morning trying to get this thing out. So we're dedicated. We want you guys to enjoy our content. We just want you guys to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. And like Knight said, man, we appreciate everybody that's out there. We appreciate all the guys that put in the work. Mikey Raider from Raider Central, Cameron P from Raider Nation News, Dylan, all the guys that are out there that I've watched, for years. We may have some disagreements and squabbles, but we obviously wish success for everybody. This is such a huge platform. I mean, it is such a huge fan base. We're international. The guys on the radio, A-Bomb, podcasters like Raider Greg. I mean, the nation is just so filled with talent. I remember Knight saying that, the Raider Nation is so, I sent him a logo and he's like, God, the Raider Nation is just, that's so much talent. There's so many people out there that we're so passionate, So, man, it's a good thing. And we just hope that you guys enjoy what it is that we do for you guys. And that you support all these other guys. And again, we're going to leave it in the comments. Let's go to the XOXO Foundation. Let's order a football, order a shirt, order something. Find out how you can help. Send them an email. These ladies are working really, really, really hard to make our game better. They're beautiful people. And also, the Violator, what a great guy. He's a teddy bear, but what a wonderful, wonderful guy. Go to his website as well, Motorsports, if you're into, workout equipment. Go check it out and support these guys because they do so much for the community. One of the things that, and I'm sorry, Knight, I know I cut you off, but I just wanted to say this in closing. These ladies, Kendra Stabler saying, you know what, we're Raider fans. We're going to be Raider fans forever. We love the Raider Nation. They support us. She was coming to tears talking about that. So we got to turn around, like Knight said, and we got to show her that the nation loves them too, and that they take them seriously as well. So if you can, we're going to leave it in the comment section. Go ahead and go there, look at it, order a shirt, get a Kenny Stabler shirt. Let's start rocking that this year at the Coliseum. Go there, get one, take a picture, put it on our Facebook page, put it on their Facebook page. Let's get something viral going on and work together. Oh, looks like we got a visitor outside. So
perfect time
to go check it out. Yeah,
perfect
exactly.
timing. So, all right, so Raider Nation, that's going to be our wrap up for this edition of the Will to Win broadcast live after show Hall of Fame training camp edition. Like Pirate said, big shout out to the Violator, Kendra Stabler Moyes, Kim Ross. Oh my goodness, Bush. Sorry, thank you, Kim Ross Bush. Just for giving us the opportunity, and I hope we served you well. I know that you're going to be doing a lot of work on a lot of big networks, and you're probably going to get 2 or 3 minute segments here and there. But we try to show you love and give you, each ample time to get your statement out there. And let's focus in, like Pirate said, let's go get some Kenny Stabler Hall of Fame shirts. Let's rock them this year. Let's support the XOXO Foundation. They're pushing for the CTE, not at the NFL level, but at the youth level, which I totally support. And they got the Will to Win support, and we'll do anything we can to support that. So once again, much love to you all. Stay Raider strong, and we'll see you guys next Friday after our first game against the Cardinals. See you guys next week.